It's great, man. What an upset. What an upset.
It surprised you?
No, not at all. Rolly still got the goods, man, and he showed it. At 147, he's been saying it this whole week, how he's comfortable at that weight.
Hey, Ryan, keep your hands up, Ryan. Let's do shit. Keep your hands up.
Rolly, no te apures.
Stay calm and relax. Relax, Ryan.
Relax, Ryan. Good job, baby. Inteligente. No te apures.
Yeah, I didn't think it was great.
He's been calling your name. Remember that night when we were interviewing you?
Yeah, he sees holes in my team and in my performances.
What did you make of it?
That was a very disappointing performance. Yeah, it was terrible.
You still want to get in there with him next time?
Nah, definitely not interested. Thank you.
When I go back to Ryan Garcia really quickly, you talked about it's just bad matchmaking. Is a lot of this pro fight game stuff just as important for the matchmaker to be just as astute at his job as it is the fighter?
Absolutely. But you can't blame, without knowing the background, you can't blame anybody, because it may very well be that the people at Golden Boy were telling Garcia, don't go into a fight like this, take a tune-up fight, get yourself back in the ring and so forth. I mean, anybody who knows boxing would tell Garcia that's what he should do. But I guess the money that Turkey put up was so big that they decided to go for the money. But that doesn't make any sense.
And we saw this before last summer with Big Baby, kind of a similar thing. Is this money that's being thrown at these fighters to the detriment of their careers, and they're not realizing it?
It could be
yet?
to the detriment of the career, because the fighters look at the money, and that's all they care about, and they don't realize that maybe you don't take a fight that you shouldn't take. I mean, Big Baby was so unprepared for Bacoli that it was a joke. We told him, we were against the fight. Our matchmakers were against the fight. But, this was a multi-million-dollar purse, and Big Baby insisted on taking it, and Bacoli knocked him out, So sometimes you can't blame the matchmakers or promoters. Sometimes it's the fighter who's blinded with the money.
Damn! Yo, Keyshawn, what do you think? What happened?
I thought he was going to stop. Yo, I thought he was going to stop. I thought I boxed you. Yeah, I thought that was
I'm at the judges' table.
No, I'm very happy for Rolly. Sad short shot for Ryan Garcia, but hey, look, don't overlook anybody. And I think Rolly had a great game plan. He listened to his team very well. And before he went to the event, my father told him, just keep your right hand up the whole night, and that's it. You'll win the fight, and he did that. And he looked great.
Virgil, what's up, champ? Just got to get your reaction about what you think about that Rolly win.
He deserved it. Ryan just wasn't active enough. Rolly was landing more punches. There wasn't really a whole lot to go off of, but Rolly was more favorable.
Are you surprised by the dub? No. You thought Rolly could pull it off?
I didn't know who was gonna win. If I'm being, I thought it was gonna end in a knockout by either way. But I didn't know who. But I'm surprised that it went to the distance.
Were you shocked when he got dropped?
No.
No,
because Rolly hits hard.
Man, it was cool. We sat here for all three fights. It was alright though.
What do you think about Ryan? Where does he go from here after this loss?
I don't know. It looking like everybody got to go back to the scoreboard. I feel like Rolly. I like the way the both
to the both
boards they got. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I like the way Rolly took his time. He picked his shots and stuff like that. That was my take of the whole night. That was the best part of the night. Just watching Rolly take his time, pick his shots. He was strong for sure.
Yeah.
But we knew that.
Was it the layoff, you think? The year layoff? He wasn't active?
I don't know.
Or he just doesn't want it?
I don't know what it is. I can't say. You know, I wasn't in his camp or nothing like that. But you know, it could be a few things. You know, some people say it was a PEDs. So you know, you got to get back.
Definitely. Now talking about Devin Haney, what did you think about his performance?
I feel like everybody could have did a little bit better. You know, we seen all of them perform better.
Yeah,
you know,
that was another year layoff, so maybe that affected him.
Right, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, these were strange fights. A couple of them, you know. But it was great to be back doing blow by blow. Had a fantastic time with Antonio Tarver. Had a fantastic time with Mike Coppinger. I wish that there had been more action.
Yeah.
It's quite unbelievable. CompuBox has counted punches in 15,000 fights.
Wow.
2 of those fights are now among the 5 fights with the lowest number of punches ever. Okay?
Wow.
So you're looking at 2 of the 5 lowest punch output fights in a 15,000 fight catalog. That's unreal. These were supposed to be action fighters. You know? And you would have thought that Garcia would have recognized from the midpoint of the fight on that he had to generate more activity.
Yes.
But he didn't. Derek James yelled at him, tried to get him to do it, etc., etc. Fighters are unusual human beings. They don't always do what we expect them to do. Rolly Romero moved up in weight, put on a lot of muscle, looked spectacular in there, and had a plan and executed. Won the fight.
Definitely.
You saw what Devin did in the other fight on the card. He got the W, maybe not in the way that he wanted. I spoke to Eddie after
No, that's
the fight.
way he wants it. That's the way that Haney's definitely wanted. That was, for them, excellent boxing. That's Mayweather new money. That's the Mayweather edition of their plans.
By Ryan Garcia's performance tonight, a fantastic victory for Rolando Romero. Almost made it look kind of easy.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. I was surprised how he. I think he just never recovered from that check hook that Rolly did on him. So, you know, I think he was too hesitant, and maybe the hunger is not there like it should be for Ryan Garcia. But hopefully he gets back on his feet, and hopefully we still see the rematch between himself and Devin Haney.
You were super outgoing all fight week. I asked Brian in the build-up, I said, is it hard when you're doing big podcasts or having a go at each other to focus on your opponent? You seem like the only one who maybe kept that focus in there. What was the whole build-up like for you? This was different, right?
It's our job. It's our job to entertain everyone, all of you that are watching. It's our job to give everybody a show. I mean, we're having so many people cross over. We had 200 or 300 special talent guests around watching us fight tonight in the ring. So you got to live up to it. You have to. And I'm that type of person that always wants to exceed to those expectations.
Ryan, how you feeling, champ?
Good.
No, we have another one right there. I'll be in the front. You're good. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is fine. This is good.
And the atmosphere, I just wanted to get you to touch on, we just finished watching the whole program. The atmosphere just didn't seem like the traditional atmosphere.
Well, it wasn't the traditional atmosphere. It doesn't mean it was bad. It was sort of pretty interesting having the fight in Times Square, coming off the way it did. But it's not the same atmosphere as enclosed arena. It just isn't.
So just last thoughts about Devin Haney. Where does he go from here?
I don't know where he goes from here. You know, he's certainly fighting the way he did tonight. I mean, boxing fans take anything, but who the hell wants to see him fight? I mean, that really was a terrible performance.
So out of the performance of everybody that you saw tonight, who do you think is the best fighter at this point in their career out of everyone we just witnessed?
Well, I think Teofimo. You know, no real medals on him. He didn't fight a great fight. and he was in with Barboza, who, again, as I said, can't break an egg. So he should have been more aggressive. But at least you saw his whole arsenal.
What do you think about Teofimo Lopez? His performance?
He did okay. I mean, he did okay. But he knew he was in with Barboza, who can't break an egg. Barboza's fought so many fights for us. I don't think he's had one knockout. So Teofimo could show his whole arsenal.
Mike, what you think about Tio's fight, Mike? You think Barboza, could have made it a little bit more competitive? Tio, Barboza, they just fought. What you thought about it?
Real technical, good fight, you know what I'm saying? 2 boxers. It was a chess match, and he did good, you know what I'm saying? It was a real chess match, to be honest with you, man. It's like watching 2 chess masters play each other, you know what I'm saying, play. So it was real good.
147 is what Tio just told me he wants to do next. He's talking about fighting Boots. I know you're familiar with Boots and what he does in the ring. You obviously know what Tio does in the ring.
Right.
How does the fight between them two go?
It's a good fight. That's another chess match. Like with these guys right now, they're getting real technical. Brownsville, they're getting real technical and shit, you know what I mean? So it's like, they're getting good, real technical. So those 2 guys right there, man, like, wow, it's a chess match.
What did you assess your son's performance there?
Hey, man, ain't nobody doing it like my son, man. It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? These people want to be queens. They want to be coming in in a Batmobile and all that stuff. So I leave those guys alone. I told my son, listen, man, let them get what they want to get. Sooner or later, who's going to prevail? The real fighter, right? So my son is not even in his prime. He's still not even in his prime. And and it's crazy how my son is doing everything right now, and it's not like they're not giving him what he deserves, you know what I'm saying? He's not even in the pound. He's not even in the pound list, you know what I'm saying? Being 2-time leading champion, defending the belt against Arnold Barboza, which was 29-0, which was the hardest fight tonight, to make. I just gotta say, man, thank you for everything. Thank you for the support. Don't miss the fight. Watch it. It was a boxing. It was like a boxing clinic, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, your son is all business. I mean, he called out Boots Ennis. I mean, what do you see stylistically?
That's who we are. That's what we want next.
Thank you.
What?
I don't know, how does it feel? The fans are
let's go.
In New York City.
Man, it's amazing, man. Amazing. Get on that ring.
Ali.
Let's talk about it, baby.
Yeah, stop crying. Take over. It's the motherfucking takeover. Hey.
What up, Ellie?
Yeah, you guys lost. Stop fucking crying. Tio, congratulations.
Hey, man, heads up. I just need him.
Garcia, has been off a whole year, and this is a lack of real planning. He should have had a tune-up fight first, and then go into a fight with a guy like Romero. But these fighters and the promoters get turned by the money, and they don't make really good decisions. A good decision would have been to take a tune-up fight, and then, then you move to a Romero or even a Haney or so forth. You don't go right in after a year. Look at Haney. Haney looked terrible with Ramirez because he hadn't fought in a year.
Did he seem to be gun shy? Did he seem to be worried about taking another big shot?
Who's that?
Devin Haney, with the way that he was moving around the ring.
Absolutely. You see that? I mean, I don't know how he scored because it's hard to tell, but who's going to want to see Haney fight if he fights that way?
You want to see the rematch after what? Yeah.
I thought he did a great job of notifying, like doing what I think Evan's probably want to do is just get the W and go on to the next fight. I thought there was some things that he probably did, but he did a great job. He did a spectacular job. A Sugar and Leonard type of job. Yeah, I mean, I thought that, like I said, there could be some combinations here and there, but Jose Romero is, I guess, a tough fighter and dangerous. So at any time, so you got to be careful. And it's been a year off, so yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Just the ring rust, how did you think that? Like, obviously, your experience, you understand how that works. Do you think the year off is what impacted him the most in this fight?
I think that it impacted him mentally. I mean that, like, I see him in the gym. I see him, hit the mat, the mitts and all that stuff, and it looks amazing and everything. It's confident. But I think when you get under the lights, it's a little different. So you have to really respect the guy's power, respect the other guys, talent, whatever. But all in all, I think that he just shut Jose Ramirez down. I mean, they said how great shape he was and what he's going to do to Devin and how he's going to knock him out and toughest fight and all that stuff.
He wasn't afraid to take a punch.
Where does Teofimo go from here?
I think he's Teofimo's for the money, and you can't blame him. So his next fight will be the biggest money fight for him, which is probably Ennis.
Mm-hmm. Is that a fight you're looking forward to make?
Well, it's Teofimo wants the money, and if they want the money, you don't hold them back. They're adults, and they can make a decision. And if the decision that he makes is to go into an Ennis fight, that's his decision, and everybody goes along with him, and that's the way it is.
How do you feel about his chances versus Jaron Ennis?
I think he's very much an underdog, but that's why they do the fights.
And then Brian Norman, he's obviously signed with Top Rank. Is that the fight you would prefer to make?
Well, Brian Norman has a tough fight with the Japanese fighter in June in Tokyo. Because Honda, who we do a lot of business with, tells me that he gives the Japanese guy a big chance to win the fight. So we'll have to see. So, again, instead of looking ahead with Brian Norman, look at what's going to be in front of him in Tokyo and hope that he's able to pull it out.
So Lopez Norman wouldn't be likely. Would you think it would be more Lopez Ennis at this point?
Well, again, I'm not going to. I don't think Brian Norman should even talk or consider a fight with Lopez or anybody else until he fights and beats the Japanese fighter. Because, otherwise it's just stupid. He's not going to do his best when he fights over in Tokyo. Let him win that fight, and then there's plenty of time after the fight to talk to Brian and to see what he wants to do next. And the matchmakers will have some advice for him, and he'll listen to the advice, and he may not follow the advice, but he'll listen to the advice. I think he's a very, very good fighter. Maybe it's a little too early to tell, but again, let's see how he does in Tokyo.
Does Teofimo Lopez beat the fighters you saw tonight? Does he beat Haney? Does he beat Ryan Garcia?
Oh, easy.
Does he beat Rolly?
They're not. Those aren't really competitive fights for Teofimo.
Let me ask you though, Devin Haney and Rolly. From the guys that we just saw tonight, if Devin Haney and Rolly were to fight next, what happens then?
Well, that's it's an interesting fight. If Haney fights Rolly the way he fought Ramirez, he doesn't win. So again, I've seen Haney in a lot of fights. I never saw him fight this way. So again, based on fighting the way he did tonight against what Rolly showed fighting Garcia tonight, I would pick Rolly. But again, I don't think you're going to see Haney so bad as he looked tonight.
Do you think maybe it's time for Haney to seek help elsewhere as far as trainers go?
Well, I don't know. The father's a pretty intelligent guy, and you know he has people in this corner that could tell Devin, and Devin's an intelligent fighter. So when he looks at the tape, I think he'll recognize by himself that he has to change his style. I don't know what the hell he was running for 12 rounds. You know, it wasn't in with King Kong, with Jose Romero sort of at the end of his career and more a businessman than a fighter.
Appreciate you, Bob.
Right, thank you.